Good morning and welcome to this Architectural Professional Practice CPD presentation. Our focus today will be to discuss the many facets of leadership. We will both define and discuss the importance of leadership, the concept of situational leadership, the various types of leadership, and further elaborate on these findings through two exemplar scenarios. But first, let's take a quick look at one very particular opinion.
It's not really hard. You just make your bed real neat, remember to stand up straight, and always answer every question with, "Yes, drill sergeant."
Is that clear? Yes, drill sergeant!
So what exactly does leadership mean, and how would we define a leader? Well, a leader is a person who first and foremost leads, a guide or a conductor of sorts, a person who directs a force and commands authority or influence over that team. Leading is when a leader provides direction to that team or exercises leadership, and leadership is one's capacity to lead, the act or an instance of when they have led. But you may be asking yourself, why is leadership so important in today's architectural profession or the wider context, and is it a requirement? The short answer is no. While successful leadership requires knowledge, responsibility, organisation, respect, and almost all organisations cannot function without it, there is no legal requirement for a particular type in the professional workplace. Typically, it becomes the individual empowers choice as to what style he or she chooses to impose on the team. This list here suggests some of the many aspects as to why leadership is so critical. The ability to influence or assist in tasks, broadly announce new projects to the team, resolve conflict that will most certainly occur, educate new and experienced individuals on new programs or processes, make direct action decisions in a timely manner, and boost morale when times are tough. Leadership that disregards these points, ethical behaviour, or intent for the well-being and whole life balance of the individuals in a team will not prosper long. A leader should always seek to maintain a happy, motivated, ethical, and inclusive atmosphere for immediate and future success. While there is much cause for good leadership, there is not one perfect fit for all situations. A successful leader will adapt his or her style to the current team, client, and context to achieve the desired result. Though the ability to track and measure one's style to enable comparison of results is important, it then becomes a question again of the leader's motivation, efficiency or education, and the amount of time afforded to allow for creativity and innovation. One framework developed by the Center for Leadership Studies divides the options into two categories: task or directed behaviour, which is largely driven by the leader, involving a lot of feedback, instruction, and is useful to spark movement or gather the team's buy-in on a topic or idea. The other, relationship or supportive behaviour, is driven by the team, typically relies on the team's individuals having previous experience. They then require less direction and the leader needs simply participate to ensure their aligned views on a project. This practice helps to increase the team's autonomy, but does rely on the team's intrinsic motivation and communication when delegating tasks. Adjusting and revising a leadership style to the situation can define the success or failure of a team. With that said, what are the various types of leadership? There is much debate over the categorization, but studies largely outline 5 overarching types which encompass the many styles. Authoritarian often depicts a competitive one-man show approach where results are consistent but creativity is stifled and the team can become reliant on the reputation of the leader alone. Participative utilizes a democratic approach that does well to afford an inclusive atmosphere within a team. Though this style can increase motivation, the time required to make decisions can be significantly delayed and lead to a less competitive reality. Delegative provides maybe the most freedom to its team, a style that relies heavily on the ability and creativity of individuals, though this approach can lead to clashes in opinion due to a result of the blurred nature of leadership in a team's hierarchy. Transactional is a type which relies on previously established routines. At times it can resemble the authoritarian approach because of its more strict protocols and emphasis on the final result. And though this leadership style can be easily tracked, particularly for future situations, in architectural practice, it can significantly limit the opportunity for innovation of new responses. The final type we'll discuss is maybe the most common in this profession, transformational, also known as strategic or situational, placing importance on coaching and education. This style is successful because it empowers the team. The leader will typically motivate through his or her own actions and encourage individuals to be creative and seek new ways to achieve the final result. Though this collaboration increases the inclusive nature of practice, it can be a slower process, one which relies on continual feedback and agreement of all parties. These discussed types, though different, can overlap in many cases. A leader's ability to recognize the variation and adapt his or her formula will increase an organization's likelihood for ongoing success. Our first scenario will utilize a more direct authoritarian leadership style, With a one-person end-goal orientated approach, the primary concern will be the speed and efficiency of tasks, and little regard will be placed on the team's creativity, education, or collaboration between project stages. Okay, so your name's Gosson, an excited new architectural graduate keen to discover all the profession has to offer. Let's begin. An existing client contacts your practice with the brilliant idea for a new project. Your director, Tim, was the first to hear of its potential and has quickly organised to meet with the client alone, away from the rest of the team. You think to yourself, maybe that's just the way the organisation works, and don't think much more of it. Following the meeting, Tim quickly works independently to hand sketch a conceptual design, which you later discover has been approved for design development. You think to yourself, what did I study 6 years at university for, only to be a draftsman? Having had nothing to do with the design so far, Tim later approaches you to complete documentation of his design and instructs you to make no changes as this layout has been signed off by the client. Does he even care what others think? Maybe next time I can practice being a designer. The second scenario will use a transformational leadership style, focused on encouraging and empowering individuals in the team, concerned not only with the end result, but innovation and collaboration between individuals to achieve that result. Value will be placed on the education of members with limited experience, and discussion between the parties will determine the team's direction. So this time, your name is Reese, and again, you're a first-year architectural graduate, eager to be involved in your first professional practice. Similar to the first scenario, an existing client drops into your workplace to discuss a new design proposal. But instead of meeting alone, your director, Michael, organises a time for the client to return to the office and discuss the development with the rest of the design team. This being your first job out of university, you're feeling a little nervous, but remember that the team will be there to support you if you begin to feel overwhelmed. Following the client meeting, you, Michael, and the rest of the team meet again to discuss the direction for conceptual design and decide on a strategy for attaining future design development approval. This collaboration is great. You're feeling included and motivated to do your part to help the team achieve this universal goal. The team's concept is approved, and Michael discusses with the group again what the most effective way to document the design will be. While you sit there listening to the back and forth commentary of other senior architects, you think to yourself, this will be a challenge, but because I've been involved in the project from its inception and part of its design development, you're confident this familiarity will assist you through documentation.
You're smart, you get what we're trying to do here. Make an example for the younger guys. Be a leader.
Thank you all for your patience today. If you could all please take a test paper from the center of the table, we can get started with the questions from today's presentation. For further information, or if you have any questions regarding today's topic, please leave me your email or other form of contact, and I will send through a copy of our reflective journal study. Thank you.